Gosei Sentai Dairanger is the biggest missed opportunity when it comes to Power Rangers. Let's be real. Power Rangers is a beloved franchise as well as Super Sentai, but without Super Sentai, you can't have Power Rangers, and without Gosei Sentai Dairanger, you can't have the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Especially, you cannot have the White Tiger Ranger. Let's explain real quick. Alright. So, there is this franchise called Super Sentai. It is Japanese based and it is part of a series or a type of program which is called Tokusatsu. Tokusatsu is basically giant robots, superheroes, and costumes going against giant robots, giant aliens, giant lizards, etc., and a monster of the week formula. And one of the mainstays in Tokusatsu is known as Super Sentai. Now, there is a long list of Super Sentai seasons, but the one that would stick out to most to especially us foreigners would be Zyuranger. Zyuranger is the Super Sentai counterpart for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But there's one little iffy problem with that. You see, when Zyuranger ended, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers didn't. Basically, Power Rangers would grab Zyuranger footage for fight scenes, but Power Rangers would create Americanized human footage. So the fight scenes would come from Super Sentai Zyuranger, but the human scenes would come from Power Rangers. That is pretty much a well-known fact within the Power Ranger media. I might just have to re-explain for anybody new who didn't know that. But when Mighty Morphin Power Rangers hit the States and became a worldwide phenomenon, Saban said, I need to be able to keep this thing going because it's bringing in a lot of money. Even though the working conditions were dog shit, which is going to be one of my next videos, which will be the top 10 reasons why Power Rangers sucks. But that's a whole different video. Basically, Saban was basically saying we need to make more money, so he decided to tell Super Sentai to make more Zyuranger footage because the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers were so iconic in America. So Super Sentai did end up making Zyuranger footage, but it was strictly fight scenes. It's why the fight scenes look so more animated and hand movements, because there wasn't no storyline. It was just straight fighting. But when that happened, Super Sentai had to make a new season because they already had about 21 seasons already in before Zyuranger came in, and that is where Dairanger comes in. So here's where the iffy part comes. So Dairanger wasn't adapted into Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which is the biggest mistake I've ever seen in my life. These suits are amazing, and since half the cast or half the characters already knew how to fight, it was perfect. But here's the thing. Saban said, oh, the Mighty Morphin suits are too iconic. That's why we can't change them. But then you change them into the Zeo suits. And if I'm being honest, the Dairanger suits look way cleaner than the Zeo suits, in my personal opinion. But that is not the point. So Saban decided to just steal Dairanger Zords and Dairanger 6th Ranger, which was the Kiba Ranger, or what we know as the Mighty Morphin White Tiger Ranger. He was lucky that that Kiba Ranger looked a lot like the Mighty Morphin team. So basically, Saban said, fuck Dairanger, we're stealing your Zord and your 6th Ranger, and I'm out. And that is exactly what he did, which was the biggest mistake in my opinion, and I'm sure in other people's opinions, was a terrible mistake. The thing is, Dairanger is strictly fight-based. It has to deal with ki, it has to deal with mythical creatures. It is the perfect thing for Power Rangers. You have already dealt with dinosaurs, and let's be honest, I understand if you were a kid in the 1990s watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and how cool it was. Yes, I understand that, but there comes a level of purpose where you're looking at the same damn dinosaur 50 times in a Megazord fight. It gets repetitive, but then you want to go change the Zords, which is okay. But then it doesn't make any sense where the Black Ranger is now controlling goes from a mammoth to a freaking lion, and how the Blue Ranger goes from a Triceratops into a unicorn, and how the T-Rex goes into a dragon. It didn't make sense. If you were going to use Dairanger footage, Dairanger Megazord footage, and you were going to use the Dairanger 6 Ranger, why not just use the suits and the storylines? You pretty much made your own storylines. You just needed fight scenes. If you already were going to do Zhu 2 footage, you might as well have took the Dairanger footage. I think it might have been because maybe Dairanger's fight scenes were a little bit too graphic. But I mean, I'm going to be honest, Zhu Ranger was graphic too. In the first freaking introduction of the Green Ranger, freaking in Zhu Ranger, the Green Ranger gets killed. He gets killed. That's why there's barely any Green Ranger footage in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because in Zhu Ranger, the Green Ranger's dead. The Green Ranger's dead. This is why Saban needed a new 6 Ranger, which is where Dairanger's Kiba Ranger came in. It literally makes no sense. If you were going to just take all that Megazord and 6 Ranger stuff, you might as well have just used the Dairanger suits. And these suits are amazingly looking. Plus, it would have had fit with the Megazords. So there was no point for you to even not use the suits, because it just looks stupid when you look back on it and you're just like, damn, we had these clean suits that Saban could have used, and he kept the Mighty Morphin suits on for some dumb reason. To be honest, I just feel like Saban is the reason Power Rangers sucks now. I honestly think that. Because there's no way, even back in the day, I felt like he was trash. Because, 1, he underpaid his employees. Simple. 2, he had the most stupidest ideas. And 3, you did all that extra work when you could have made it simple. Literally, if you were going to just take Megazords and 6 Ranger footage, you might as well have just kept the Dairangers in. And that is what makes me mad. It's because he just took 2 things from it. You might as well have just taken the whole thing. And it's not even like they fall in line with the story. No, because the way the episodes are aired, it makes it look like the Zhu Rangers are fighting the Dairanger villains, and it's freaking annoying because Dairanger's plot is actually very, very good. I actually enjoy it because it's not a basic ass plot like when it came into Mighty Morphin. It had depth, it had story, it had acting. It's one of my favorite Super Sentai seasons. And the fact that we don't get to see it in the Americanized adaptation is so annoying. Yes, I know we got the comics, but fuck the comics. I need to see them in live action. Super Mega Force did not do them justice. Definitely not. Fucking Power Ranger Squadron. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Dairanger is literally Dairanger is literally Saban's biggest mistake. Literally, Dairanger could have been the best one. Dairanger could have been great. Imagine getting Dairanger action figures as a kid. That would have been amazing for kids growing up at that time. There is no way that Saban missed that, but he did, and I feel like it's what caused Power Rangers to go down, because of the fact that he kept using these same ideas and trying to introduce new things. But let's be honest, who wouldn't want a new Power Ranger, Red Ranger toy that looked completely different during that time? That would have been amazing. Plus, you could have definitely changed up a cast. If you were going to have Tommy become the new leader and change all these Rangers, you might as well have Tommy keep the 6th Ranger and give the Red Ranger to Adam. And there's a reason why I picked Adam. The reason why I picked Adam to become the Red Ranger is not because he's Asian. Because Adam is actually a very skilled fighter. Adam is a very skilled fighter, and he knows his way around the Asian scene as well, which could be perfect for Dairanger's motif. Basically, Zordon could have been like, oh, okay, we got new Zords, which comes with new powers and new suits, and he's going to make Adam become the new Red Ranger. This would be great for Adam's development as well, and besides, it wouldn't have shown as Tommy being this new guy. Give somebody else a chance. If you're already going to make Tommy the leader in Seal, you might as well give the Red Ranger spot to someone new, and I think Adam would have been perfect to become the Red Ranger for the Mighty Morphin Season 2 if they used the Dairanger suits, because it would have been nice. That is just like, there was so much depth and ideas that could have been made for Dairanger to be in Power Rangers, and it just didn't come to fruition. And I feel like it's just one of the biggest mistakes, because the Dairanger suits are incredible, the Zords are incredible, and the storyline is fantastic. And I feel like if Saban really had thought about it, it could have been great things for Power Rangers. That's why I feel like it's a mistake, because there was so much that could have been done with the writing, with the story, with anything. Even if you were just going to keep the fight footage, that's okay. But use the footage. He literally made his job harder instead of easier, which is like the dumbest thing. You literally decided to grab Kiba Ranger footage and Zord footage. That's why the White Ranger is barely with the rest of the team, because he had to put the Kiba Ranger footage when he's fighting solo. That's why they kept cutting in between White Tiger Ranger's Zord appearance because they had to mesh the two clips together with the Power Rangers footage, the Kiba Ranger footage. Dairanger is the biggest mistake because one, the toy sales could have been fantastic. Two, the story made no sense because you got these new Zords but no new suits, which made no sense at all. Three, because the villains are actually pretty creepy in Dairanger. I can't lie. The Mighty Morphin ones were kind of kitty, but the Dairanger villains were creepy. I guess that's why he stuck to Zord footage. And four, another reason is because it's just because the suits looked amazing. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want that as a toy? And five, the fifth reason is my somewhat last reason, and that is I feel like Saban is the biggest failure when it comes to Power Rangers. I feel like if Power Rangers were led by, I don't know, Stan Lee, like it was meant to be, it would have been way better. But hope you all enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching this little video. It's just basically me ranting about why I love Dairanger so much. But if you did enjoy, please do subscribe. It really helps the channel out a lot. I'm loving the love and support we're getting, and I really hope this channel can grow. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.